What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a reaction to the new DC Studios Slate from James Gunn and Peter Safran that we got today. Yes, DC is revamping what they're doing. A lot of actors are out in their past roles, such as Henry Cavill, Superman, and we got the first look at what the future of DC movies and television shows will be from Gunn and Safran. Chapter one of this DC universe titled Gods and Monsters. Now, whether you were happy about this new leadership change, these casting changes or not, I think the one thing everyone should be happy about this change is the stability that it presents, and that's a stability that had been lacking with DC films and the DC franchise in general for the last 10 plus years, unfortunately. You know, we never really had that creative steward under Walter Hamada with that DC Films brand. Zack Snyder was part of it, but not the entire head of it. Joss Whedon coming in, kind of revamping what things were being done. The direction creatively was never clear and never consistent. And whether you like Gunn or not, you like what's going to happen or not, ultimately, I think it's too early to say that you would dislike what's going on. We haven't gotten anything yet, but there's at least a coherent plan, a thoughtful, serialized storytelling plan. And that is just what needs to happen with franchise storytelling. Think about like the James Bond movies post Daniel Craig, for example. They will be much more serialized, which is not how they used to be. That's just how blockbuster storytelling needs to exist these days. And, I think Gunn and Safran, what they presented so far for this DC Studios slate is at least promising and is at least presenting a coherent plan. So we know that Superman is being recast. Superman Legacy is opening on July 11th, 2025. Gunn will be involved creatively in that movie in some way, whether he ends up directing it or not. Sounds great because they notably said that this will not be a origin story for Superman once again. Much like how Tom Holland was introduced by Sony and Marvel as a new Spider-Man, people get it. We can just keep it moving. I think that's a really good idea for such a popular and famous character. We also have this kind of event ensemble movie called The Authority that was announced. Sounds cool. Um, Safran kind of invoked Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, which is a bit funny, a bit rich, but still sounds cool. And of course, they also announced The Brave and the Bold, a new Batman film, notably that will encounter Robin, specifically Damian Wayne. Sounds exciting, sounds fun. Once again, a new Batman. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, another movie that was announced. Really excited to have Supergirl for the first time. Sounds like a good idea. And unsurprisingly, Swamp Thing was announced as a movie. Not that Swamp Thing specifically is unsurprising, but just the fact that DC under Gunn, but DC in general, will strive to introduce characters beyond the Justice League purview, less famous characters, because going beyond the A-list is, I think, a key to the franchise success moving forward. Look no further than Marvel, where famously, of course, James Gunn brought the Guardians of the Galaxy out of obscurity, but even before that, Iron Man was not an A-list comic book character by any means when Robert Downey Jr. first played him in 2008. So I think this is a great idea to bring in less notable characters and figures into the story. On the TV side of things, same thought. Creature Commandos as this kind of obscure team on HBO Max. Sounds cool. Uh, Probably the most surprising thing that was announced to me is a spin-off series off the Suicide Squad titled Waller, with the return of Viola Davis, notably Viola Davis, a character cast with the old regime. Her coming back, I guess you could fit it in. It's no big deal, but it is interesting that that's a clear, intentional choice to retain previous casting and a previous character moving forward. So we'll see. And I wouldn't be shocked if, more things spin off of Peacemaker and stuff Gunn was directly involved in. We'll see. Perhaps the most exciting thing of all to me on the TV side of things would be Lanterns, a Green Lantern series featuring both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Notably, Gunn and Safran invoked True Detective as a comp for this series, which brings me right back to the Russo brothers describing the Winter Soldier as the parallax view, classic quote director bullshit that we get. But even the idea of something vaguely True Detective esque with the Green Lanterns sounds fun. Also, on HBO Max, Paradise Lost, a Wonder Woman spin-off series set on Themyscira, described as a Game of Thrones-ish story. If we get anything as dramatic in scope and as impressive in the writing department from DC or Marvel for that matter, uh, that's a welcome decision. So hopefully they can hit that bar with Paradise Lost. We'll see. And then another good one is Booster Gold on TV. Another obscure character, bringing it in. Sounds like a good idea to expand the roster. Booster Gold had been bandied about as a project for some time. I'm curious if this is a brand new pitch, brand new idea, or if it's being recycled in some way. Who can say? The one thing that's still a bit, I guess, unsure or hard to put your finger on with what DC's up to these days is the fact that we're still going to get another Batman film from Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves. We're still going to get another Joker film from Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix with Lady Gaga joining the mix. These Elseworld stories are still coming in the short term, and it sounds like the Colin Farrell Penguin series is going to production this year. So again, these Elseworld stories kind of fly in the face of a coherent, DC universe. I would not be shocked if these Elseworld attempts fade away once we are further removed from these ones that are currently in progress, and notably these ones currently in progress were very successful. And I was actually pretty uh, congratulatory or happy to see DC be less enthused with continuity in the past and just kind of take pitches and make good stuff, work with talented people. And that's how you got the Batman, you got Joker. And does that mean you get multiple Batmans at one time, multiple Joker characters at one time? Yes, that's what it meant, but at least they were trying to make good stuff. Now, that being said, if you're going to reset and make a fully coherent franchise story, it probably makes sense to really keep everything in house. And if you want to work with auteurs and make stuff outside the box, do it in the purview of your universe. I don't think that's actually too big of an ask. So uh, we'll see if this kind of approach continues moving forward, because ultimately, Gunn and Safran in this new DC regime, they have to kind of thread the needle, right? Because Shazam 2 is coming out this year, The Flash with Ezra Miller is coming out this year, Aquaman 2 is coming out this year, Blue Beetle is coming out this year. Those are not movies from this regime. They are relics of the past, and it sounds like Blue Beetle will remain, but everything else is kind of feeling like an endpoint, or at least a transition type of story. So we're not really going to get this new regime, this new plan, this phase one of this new DC slate. We're not going to get that until like 2025 anyway. So we really want to see the fruits of the labor for some time, and in the meantime, we'll be getting other stuff that has been in the can for some time. So it is a bit interesting, but that's kind of the hand that Safran and Gunn were dealt. They obviously couldn't, nor should they want to, can these films and not put them out. Obviously, Batgirl notwithstanding. So, you know, all things considered, I think this is a coherent step forward, and they're presenting a realm of a frame of strength at the helm of DC, which is how you want your franchise properties to be treated, given how we know how important IP storytelling is to finding success in entertainment. And unfortunately, as it may be, that's just how it is. So it sounds like Warner Bros. Discovery is fully committed behind this new leadership. We hope that stands the test of time, because it certainly didn't with past leadership. But again, Warner Bros. Discovery as a whole is a brand new company with new leadership. So I think you just have to have some faith in how it's being portrayed, but also know that we have to sit on our hands and wait for this to play out for a few years before we can really say how it's going to go. So in the meantime, leave a comment. Let me know, what are you happy about that got announced? What do you wish got announced that wasn't yet? What are you looking forward to? And for more movies, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.